Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So, as you can see from the title, today we're going to talk about the puzzles that I found a couple of weeks ago. In the meantime, I know this video is very late. I was going to do it Tuesday, then I was going to do it Wednesday. As usual, thought that I would find nothing at Goodwill on Tuesday, went to Goodwill and found another buttload of vintage patterns. These are definitely like 60s and very early 70s. And they're home ec teachers' patterns. And I'll tell you why. Some of the patterns I showed you in the live feed, I found the same pattern. So this was a home ec teacher. The reason I say that is she probably got bulk of different kinds of patterns and then let the girls pick what they wanted to make when she was teaching them sewing. And that's why you have like remember the caftans? That was a cut pattern. Oh, it's over there. Uncut, same pattern, the uncut version. So somebody didn't make it in her class. Somebody else did make it in her class. So just letting you know. I have an event going out with some friends this Sunday. So I'm going to do Sundays in Sabelles as Saturday in Sabelles. But I'm going to do it in the afternoon because I hate this lighting at night. I mean, it's bad today. I have the overhead light on because it's so dreary outside, even though it's like, I think it's like 11 in the morning right now. It's so dreary outside. So I'm going to do all of these all of these patterns together, and I'll set it up as a live feed like Sunday afternoon. So without further ado, let's talk about these puzzles. So these were all in bags that were like 4 or 5 puzzles. The ones with 4 puzzles were $4.49, and the bags with 5 puzzles were $5.49. I haven't been able to find a lot of information on them, but they're pretty fascinating. So let me start with the 2 I'm going to keep, and I'll explain why, even though one is pretty self-evident. There's this one. No idea what it is. We got a title, but I don't know what it is. And these puzzles, by and large, these puzzles are in really amazing shape. Like the pieces, if you look at them, are not even dog-eared, like they've been used. They're so new looking that I think the person who used to own these was probably a collector and didn't really do the puzzles, or maybe didn't do these. But so looking at this, I'm thinking 1930s. I don't know why there's no picture. Maybe the picture fell off. Maybe when you bought it in the store, they had the picture someplace else. I don't know. Don't know. And then this one that I had to keep for obvious reasons. Any of you that know me will know why I'm keeping this. I'm going to put this in the thumbnail so you guys can see her fabulous 40s outfit. Like I want the whole outfit. I want the platforms. I want the peasant blouse. I want the denimish looking skirt, all of it. Okay, so I'm going to go. So those are the ones I'm keeping. There was one more that was a Milton Bradley that my sister wanted. I think it was from the 60s. It wasn't worth a lot of money, so I gave it to my sister. So that one's missing. But let's start with the oldest ones first, or what I believe to be the oldest ones first, because I have to be honest, I don't know much about jigsaw puzzles. And again, these older ones, this one says Holy Cross Mountain is the puzzle. No idea what that means. Another one. I am dating these 1920s, 1930s. This one says the Great Northeast, or sorry, Northwest. Don't know what that means. I'm dating these in the 30s and the 20s because of the graphics. I'm really going to go with 1930s. This says Going Good. No idea what that means. This to me looks a little more 40s, but could be late 30s. Again, because of the graphics. This one is called One You Never Forget. This one is very obviously 1930s. This type of all of this. Now, this could have been produced in the 40s because they may not have changed the font on the boxes. This says Returning Flock, whatever that is. Now, these next couple I'm really sure are 1940s. Based on a couple things. The graphics, the actual fonts used on the graphics. And if you look at this picture right here, this is your very early kind of Kodachrome looking photo. So this would have been reproduced from someone taking a photo. And this is, what do they call this? Oh, it's Grand Canyon. Nice. Love the Grand Canyon. I think everybody should go to the Grand Canyon. Again, you can see how the photos look. If you ever see old photos, they obviously didn't have the technology we have now with color, with photographs. So, and this one is called, what you called? Okay, no name. Yeah, it just says Cavalcade of America. Oh, Glacier National Park. Okay, so this is Glacier National Park. Now these, I think, are late 40s. They could still be early 40s, but I see, my thought is these are very early 50s, late 40s. These are after the war. And the reason I say that is the detail on the box, the type of font being used, the better quality of the photo. Even the size of the box, because during the war, there was no money for this stuff. All of this paper, all of this cardboard would have gone towards the war effort. In fact, any factory that actually made puzzles was probably converted to making something that they considered more important for the war effort. So I'm dating these post-war, probably early 50s, maybe. You know, whenever you could get a puzzle for 29 cents, that's when these were made. Here's another one. And by the way, all of these, I'll show you another one. All of these are like I was saying about the one. Here, we'll open this one. This one, I think maybe as late as the early 60s. Only because even more, look at this box, more detail, better photo, more color saturation in the packaging, all of that. But again, look, like here are two pieces that are stuck together. And this is when you buy new puzzles, you find this all the time. They're still stuck together. I don't think anybody ever put this puzzle together. It's really cool. Now, here's the funny thing. This next puzzle was the only one I could find online, and they want like $45 for it. I mean, it is a cool puzzle, but I don't know if it's worth $45. It actually has a sticker on the back that, of course, I can't read. Oh, it's a Woolworth sticker. Right? So this is old. Now, the one that I saw online, this was dated, I think, 1950, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually older than that, really. Sorry, all my puzzles look like they're about to fall over. Now these, I'm thinking 1950. Lots of reasons. I'm looking at the box, the saturation, the color, the use of the color chartreuse, really big in the 1950s. Just everything about it. In fact, this to me has a very Norman Rockwell kind of feel. And he was really big. He was huge in the 50s. And then there's this one. I mean, they're really beautiful. They really, really are. I'm kind of happy that I found them only because this was somebody's collection. They quite obviously loved puzzles. Nobody would have this many puzzles if you didn't love puzzles, right? The seals, by the way, they have seals on them. The seals are broken. But again, like look at this one. The seal's broken on it, but look at that puzzle piece. No dog ear. It's not dog-eared, right? Doesn't look like it's ever been used. It's kind of crazy. And then this one, I can't tell if this color faded because it is different than the others, or if it's just slightly older. Maybe this is late 40s, pre-1950s. It is, I mean, it's the same font and everything, but the fact that the color saturation is different. I mean, that's one of the ways that I date things is fonts, how they use the words, because there are ways that they used to speak and use words really differently than we use them now. You know, like I would know these were from the 50s if it said keen on it somewhere. Like this puzzle's keen because that was something that was very popular in the early 50s, right? Like one of these puzzles, let me see if I can find it, actually says interlocking jigsaw puzzle. Using the word interlocking is kind of weird because everybody knows what a jigsaw puzzle is. The one that says interlocking is actually one of the ones that I think is from the 30s. So I don't know if jigsaw puzzles were a big deal in the 30s. I really don't know anything about jigsaw puzzles. I just knew that these were vintage as soon as I saw them. And I just can't pass up vintage stuff. It's really hard for me, you know. You would think that it would just be patterns, right? You'd be wrong. Yeah, I see vintage stuff. I think about how well it was made. I think about how fabulous the stuff is, and I just can't imagine it going into a landfill, right? Like, I mean, can you imagine this going into a landfill? Look at that. And they are a little banged up, like this box is a little banged up, but generally speaking, they're in great condition. By the way, this is the puzzle I'm talking about. See how it says interlocking giant jig? Picture puzzle. That's another thing. We would never use the word picture puzzle. We know it's a picture. It's on the box. It's kind of the way people used language was different. Again, here's another one. It says picture puzzle. I really think these are from the 30s, very early 40s. In fact, I'm really sure that like something like this is from the 30s, just based on the graphics. This though, the graphics is a little plainer. I think this is probably from the early 40s, but I really have no way of knowing because I can't find these online. So that was the amazing collection of puzzles that I found for like, I think there were 5 bags. So I spent what, $25 on all of this? And one of them sells for $45 on Etsy, which is an interesting concept. But I really don't know much about them. It's going to be hard for me to really track down more information on them. If you know anything about puzzles, please comment down below because I really don't. I just got a piece out of the box. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm going to have to sell these as is because I can't count 500 pieces on every one of these puzzles. But if you know anything about puzzles, if you had a family member that did them, whatever information you can give me on puzzles, that would be great because I've actually been looking like on Etsy and on eBay, trying to find like, you can get a lot of information from those sites. You can glean a lot of information. Like people will say, you know, from 1939, because that's the other thing. There are no dates on this. I've been looking for copyright dates or any kind of like information in here, and it's just where they were made, and they all say made in the US. That's another reason they're old, because I'm sure we don't make puzzles in the US anymore. Because we really don't make much anymore in the US, so I'm really sure puzzles is definitely one of the things we don't make in the US anymore. But so yes, if you know anything about puzzles, please let me know. I'm going to get these up on Etsy pretty soon. In fact, I think I'm going to do these this weekend and get them up on Etsy so that I can concentrate on patterns, which is really my bread and butter. But like I said, I couldn't pass these up when I saw them. So until my next video, which will be Saturday, it's going to be Saturday afternoon. I'm thinking around 2 o'clock. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get as many of the cut patterns that are in kind of bad shape. They're a little mangled, like they're just stuffed back in the envelope. Try and get them cleaned up a little bit so they're easier to see. And since these are newer patterns, I don't think I'm going to put them into the plastic slips yet until we're really done the video, because I noticed how bad the glare was with the plastic slips. But I do that to protect those patterns. That's how I mail them out to people that buy them, is because I want to make sure that they're protected. And then that person can decide whether they want to seal them or unseal them or whatever. I just tape them down. I don't seal them. So that'll be my next video. I'm going to skip Sundays in Cibele this week because I'm going to a drag brunch in Philadelphia, which is a benefit for, I believe it's MANA, which is a society that started out feeding AIDS patients, but now feeds anybody. If you're sick, you can call MANA and they'll bring you food. If you're elderly, MANA will bring you food. They're kind of like Meals on Wheels, except they were started within the gay community back in the late 80s, early 90s, when people were dying of AIDS and a lot of them had no family. They had no one that would take care of them. So MANA was started in Philadelphia, and they fed people. They brought food to people that were homebound because they had AIDS, and now they do it for anybody that's homebound for any reason. It's a great charity. And then actually, then in a couple weeks, I'll be going to another charity that's a luncheon to raise money for sea turtle rescue here in New Jersey. So I am just going to be a lady who lunches for the next couple of months. Yeah, but I promise I will keep making videos. Sorry I didn't make one yesterday. I didn't feel well yesterday. I woke up late Tuesday evening with a really horrible migraine at like 3:30 in the morning. Couldn't fall back to sleep. pushed myself, went to work anyway, came home from work, and needed to really just go right back to sleep and lay down because I knew I wouldn't make the afternoon shift if I didn't. So that's why I missed you guys yesterday. And then Tuesday, I thought about making the video, and I couldn't believe when I walked into Goodwill that I found more vintage patterns. And I'm telling you, it's the same woman. So the ones that I got the 40s patterns from, and then I got that second set of patterns that I said I spent a little bit too much money on that. And now the patterns I found today, and the patterns I found Tuesday, it's all the same woman. So I have her whole stash. And it's interesting, a quick little side note about her. It's interesting because I noticed that she only has like 10s, 12s, 14s, and 16s. She has nothing else. So I'm wondering what her class looked like. Here, there's actually one. This is a wounded bird. I can't find all the pieces to it, but this is like one of the patterns I picked up from her. So, but it's all stuff like this. It's all 60s, like real early 60s to kind of mid 70s. I think like the oldest pattern I found was 59 and the newest pattern I found was 74. So yeah, or maybe 75. So it was a pretty cool lot. So I'm going to go over those on Saturday. I hope you'll join me. And until then, stay well, stay warm. If you're in New Jersey, stay dry. And like, subscribe, comment. Let me know about these puzzles if you know anything. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.